Okay, hi. This is the Nagasake podcast. I'm Nagasake, and I'm joined here by my friend. You wanted me to call you Redcap, right?
Correct.
My friend Redcap, because this person does not actually want to be associated with me, which is a smart move. This is how we do it on the Nagasake podcast. We get people who don't want to be associated with us, and we force them to record things that will be on the internet forever.
This wall of anonymity is about as thin as the barrier between.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I'm sure if people like recognize your voice, they'll know who you are. But I doubt anyone's going to be able. Like, you're not. I don't want to be a dick. You're not an important person. Nobody knows who you are.
Yeah, I mean, the four people seeing this are probably not going to know me. Like, I'm not like. My voice is not recorded in anything else you've made, so.
You were on a couple of my streams.
Well, I mean, if they're if they want to really make a conceited effort, they can find out my other internet persona. Cool.
Well, I'm gonna
right?
say, yeah, the hardcore Nagasake fans probably do recognize you by your name. The whole one of them, the one of them that was also on the streams.
Yeah.
So when I talked to Redcap here, they said that they would only do a podcast if we did media analysis. And honestly, probably not every episode of this is gonna be media analysis, but at least every episode with Redcap on it. And you also said you wanted Has Been Hotel to be the first episode, but I convinced you otherwise.
No, that one was mostly a joke because Has Been Hotel is a show and that has 8 episodes. So no, we're not doing unless you want to do it like a retrospective on the whole season. But like, I don't think I could get you to sit through 8 episodes of a musical.
You could, but here's the deal. Here's what I was thinking. We're going to make it a subscriber goal. If I can get 1,000 subscribers, I'll do Has Been Hotel.
Cool. It will never happen. All right.
You don't think I can get 1,000 subscribers? Okay, fuck you, man. In 2033, 9 years from now, when my channel coincidentally gets 1,000 subscribers because of other shit, I'm gonna call you and force you to do the Has Been Hotel podcast with me.
Okay. You know what? If that...
Because I'm gonna put this on my...
I'm sorry for...
I was considering putting this on its own channel, but now I'm gonna put it on my main channel just because I'm probably gonna have 1,000 subscribers one day.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? I was just saying that us doing media analysis probably isn't gonna bring in 1,000 subscribers.
Oh really? You ever hear of Sardonicast? They have over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, but I know the people on there. They have other extremely popular channels.
I have other stuff going on. You know the thing with it is, I'm such a failure on the internet. But on YouTube, I'm doing about as well as I'd expect to. Like on Instagram, I've been posting for 5 years and I have less than 80 followers. But on YouTube, I have like a couple hundred, and my videos get a couple hundred views per video, and that's it's minor in comparison to fucking Mr. Beast or whatever. But I think I get as much attention on YouTube as I would expect. When it feels like on other sites, I'm sort of being downplayed. Also, this if you can't tell viewers, this is the core of this is media analysis, but we also are just sort of rambling.
Yes, I mean, there's not an hour's worth of like straight Shrek content coming out of my mouth. I don't know about you.
I could go
Maybe
on.
I should have taken notes.
I could go on about Shrek, man.
Okay, well, let's start.
As far as
Do you have something?
As far as notes though, we recorded us watching the fucking we recorded ourselves watching the movie, and I was gonna like cut it in, but to be honest with you, I'm probably not gonna do that because I'm lazy as fuck, and also because I had to delete the recording, because I deleted a bunch of files off my computer because I ran out of space, just straight up.
Oops.
Shrek. Shrek came out in 2001. I believe it came out in October of 2001. Let me check. Shrek release date. Shrek came out November 2nd, 2001. So 2 months after 9/11, Shrek hits. Back-to-back tragedies strike America.
Wait, wait, did the second movie come out after a tragedy as well, or what?
No,
what
9/11, and then Shrek is the second tragedy.
Oh, I see. Yes.
I love the movie, but Shrek has had a horror. The aftershock of Shrek is the issue.
A second witch has hit the wizard tower. Sorry. Anyway.
A second dragon has hit Duloc.
Okay. Anyway.
So should we summarize the plot, or should we just assume that everyone knows what happens in Shrek?
Everyone knows what the fuck Shrek is.
Understandable.
Everyone.
Understandable.
There is not a soul in America who has not seen the Shrek movie.
And that's sort of the issue, right? Like, I was joking, but the aftershock of Shrek it ruined animation for a long time. Shrek, amazing movie, I love it. I will go on about how much I love it. But the sort of dubious main character, the dance party ending, the pop music throughout, the cultural references, all of the things that made Shrek unique in its time have been copied and run into the ground.
Yeah, a parody becomes the parody or the parodie. It gets parodied.
Yeah, and it's
the
odd.
dance party ending is. I think the dance party ending is more a consequence of the time. So I think other things had already had the dance party ending, and Shrek was making fun of them.
Did it? The weird thing is, you gotta understand, Shrek came out a couple of months before I was born. And so the extra weird thing is, I think I mentioned this to you when we were watching, Shrek was my first fairy tale, right? Shrek is parodying all these Disney movies and old school fairy tales and stuff, but I saw Shrek before most of them. So I didn't understand the parody aspect as a kid, I just saw it as what it was. But that also means that, like, I don't see, how do I put this? It's not that a trend got bucked and then became the new trend. This was the trend from the moment I was born. You know what I mean? It's like the dark and edgy superheroes that we have to, like, mock people like Superman. When there's kids, Gen Alpha never knew Superman as this bright blue Boy Scout. They always knew the edgy, angry Man of Steel, for example.
I suppose. I do know, one of the main ways that this show parodied the Disney movies is in a lot of Disney movies at the time, they were all musicals where the characters were singing. So that's why all of the music in Shrek is non-diegetic, meaning the characters aren't singing it.
Except for Robin Hood and His Merry Men. Robin Hood. They sing that song.
You know what? You're correct. That is the one diegetic part of Shrek. No, well, I mean, it was all of those things. That explains as to why you feel it's unfitting with the rest of the movie.
That whole scene kind of doesn't fit in the movie, in my opinion. And it's not just that; it always feels out of place because when it's streaming on TV, they remove that scene for time to make it fit into like a hour and a half window or so, or like the 2-hour window with commercials. And nothing's lost, in my opinion. The scene with Robin Hood is fucking weird. It's got the only song that's diegetic, first off. It's there to sort of make fun of them, but I don't think that Robin Hood and His Merry Men are really made fun of enough. Like, they're villains, but they come out of nowhere. They last for one scene, and that scene includes a fucking Matrix reference, where, like, no kid is gonna know the Matrix nowadays, right? Even back then, it wasn't a movie for kids. And while you can look at the other things that are made fun of within Shrek and say that's timeless or it works without prior knowledge, the Matrix reference in that scene, it doesn't make sense without it.
I mean, there was a new Matrix movie, but I don't know how many people watched that. But I feel like through cultural osmosis, people know Matrix references. It was in... Matrix references have been in things since The Matrix came out, and I think kids now even know Matrix references.
The thing is, Matrix, one of many Matrix, right? One
singular,
Matrix of many.
Yeah.
It's
The Matrix is.
but you say cultural osmosis, but I only know the Matrix through references to the Matrix, right? The biggest
That's what I
downfall
mean.
of Shrek, in my opinion, is its reliance on cultural reference, which is why I'm glad that it's not as heavy as the things that came after it, right? I don't like whenever there's entire scenes in movies and shows where the characters stop to reenact a scene from another movie or show. That's the worst version of it.
How about entire characters that are literally just a reference to a movie
Like
or a
fucking
book series?
Harold from Total Drama Island just being Napoleon Dynamite?
Who the fuck?
Bro did not watch Total Drama Island. Harold from
I've
Total
never seen
Drama
Napoleon
Island.
Dynamite.
Oh.
I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite. And also, I'm trying to remember who the fuck Harold is. Is that from one of the other seasons?
No, he's from the first season. He's a redheaded nerd who had mad skills. And Duncan bullied him a lot. No? Nothing?
This man totally erased from my memory of Total Drama Island. Anyway,
we can't have dead air. We can't.
I was
sit
thinking.
quietly
I
and
was.
think.
I was thinking. Sorry. Was there dead air? I was so into my own head there for a moment. What I was saying is, Puss in Boots is literally just a Zorro.
He is.
He literally does the. He's just Zorro.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? As a kid, I didn't know who Zorro was, and Puss in Boots' character still works. Like, references and allusions to other media, it should be something that still makes sense in universe and still works if you don't get the reference, and then if you do, that's like an extra layer of quality or of interest.
I think it works because it isn't even a parody of Zorro. It's just Zorro. That's Antonio Banderas wearing a fursuit with a sword. Like, that's. If this movie was like fully live action, could you fucking imagine?
I don't really know what his actor looks like in person. I don't know. I mean, I can imagine a guy dressed as Zorro. If it was live action, it would be CG anyway.
That wouldn't be live action then. CG doesn't count as live action.
Thanos,
I don't care what
not
the Lion
live
King...
action, guys. Iron Man, not live action, guys. None of Spider-Man's
The Lion
movies
King
are live
isn't
action.
live
All
action,
of the
all right?
villains. I'm not talking about the Lion King. I'm talking about every superhero movie made nowadays. Every fantasy movie. Gollum was CGI for some reason. Gollum had no reason to be CGI. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how Gollum had no fucking reason to be CGI? They could have just gotten some gangly, fucking malnourished dude to play Gollum.
Shrek.
Shrek.
We watched Shrek.
So Shrek is... It's a very simple story, is what I guess I remembered it being a little bit more complex than it really was. It really is, you know, Shrek goes to... He falls in... Okay. I'm gonna shut up. You say your thing first, because I need to gather my thoughts properly. Or don't. Okay. Oh, I muted Discord. Hold on. I'm retarded. I muted Discord because you sent an image and I was getting the notification ding. And so
you just muted me. Cool. Great. Hey, we can't have dead air mutes you.
Fuck off. Talk. Speak your shit, Cam.
All right, where was I? Where was the fuck even was I? Okay, so parody. It's a parody of a lot of things. There was a WWE scene in there for funnies, or WWE, or I guess like boxing. Just the mercenaries and Shrek fighting in the middle of the field while Bad Reputation plays in the background. I don't know what my point I was going with this was. I just think it's a really good scene.
Oh yeah, when I watched that scene as a kid, I want to repeat something I said when we were watching. When I watched that scene as a kid, I could have swore to you that the song in that scene was American Idiot when I was younger. I swear. I know it wasn't, right? I don't even think that song was out yet. But in my head, in that scene, I'm always imagining that the song was American Idiot.
Yeah, you just got Mandela affected. You know, I hope whatever version you watched in your previous universe, I hope that one was just as good.
Nelson Mandela
was that the only difference?
Nelson Mandela personally snuck into my house and used his fucking memory swapping device.
No, he edited the version of the Shrek movie that you saw as a child on VHS before it got annihilated along with every other VHS tape in the universe.
And there are no other changes. The only change is the Robin Hood scene was removed.
Okay. The Robin Hood scene and then the song of that particular scene was changed. All right, cool.
And the version of Hallelujah was better. I don't know. The version of Hallelujah in this movie sounds like ass. Like I'm sorry.
I agree. I don't know why it sounds like that. It was so his voice was so whiny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It also feels like a lot of the characters that become
I'm
more...
occasionally getting just completely ear blasted by your microphone and like a wall of static or like an electronic bark. Like it hurts to like
that.
Am I I'm not. Was it that? No, it wasn't that. It wasn't you scratching your microphone with plastic or whatever.
Then I have no idea. This is great. I'm not
No,
editing any of this, by the way.
I hope no one else. I hope it's just me. I hope it's my headphones.
I hope
and that the
everyone
viewers
has to
are
deal
not
with it.
hearing. You hope everyone's getting ear blasted every couple of minutes.
For
and
the
then
funny,
slight
yeah, that's
static.
fucking hilarious. That's the
Alright,
exact
cool.
kind of trollish shit that I would do. I would edit that in on purpose to fuck with people.
That's not what makes a quality podcast, I'd say. But all right.
Listen, man, I don't even our mic volumes are different too. Like I'm trying to fix it, but the issue is that like there is like a static in my mic where it's like it's showing me at -45. I assume that's decibels. Even when I'm not speaking, like it's getting some kind of fuzz, and yours is at -60. When we speak, you're louder than me though, only slightly. But the issue is if I turn up my volume all the way, I know the static's gonna get louder. We talk about
I could
Shrek.
move slightly farther away from my microphone. Anyway, God, what is there even to say that I didn't say in the fucking
You have to repeat everything
because you're not using
that
it.
shit, yeah.
I can't remember everything I said.
I can.
The fucking
Shrek,
onion.
Shrek is a libertarian hero, and this movie is all about killing government officials and building walls around your land. I think that's the real message of Shrek.
Yeah. It's about one man and his journey for land ownership, so he can build a wall along across his land. And then, at the very end, he learns that, maybe you're supposed to let people in.
But only the people that are part of your family, though. Only your wife and best friend. Shrek, truly a literary masterpiece
and Donkey side piece.
To rival Ayn Rand. I love Shrek.
Yeah, and then okay, where does Donkey fit in that
Donkey's just like
nuclear
his friend.
family?
He's just he's the uncle. He's the family friend that gets invited over for barbecues.
And then the dragon
he's
is
Uncle Joey.
Who?
Uncle Full House. Kill yourself.
Who?
You never watched Full House?
Yeah, I saw a couple episodes of Fuller House. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I never watched any Fuller House. My little brother did.
I loved Shrek as a kid because not even a kid. I loved it more as a teenager than a kid, to be honest. Because Shrek is a weirdo. He's an outcast, and I can relate to that. And he sort of copes by embracing the outcast status, by playing the role of this monster that everyone hates. And he feels alone. He feels like he's always going to be alone. And then eventually he finds someone who loves him for who he is. And I think that's something that all sort of outcasts and all sort of freaks really want in the end. What this movie doesn't do, which a lot of people I think misremember it doing, is it doesn't really destroy the idea of true love or try to give people a new perspective on what relationships are. Shrek and Fiona are each other's true love. They are destined for each other, magically so. It's just that Shrek gets to be included in that. Shrek, even though he's a monster, gets to be included in true love, and he gets to have his happy ending. It's not that happy endings don't exist. It's not these things don't exist. Just that more types of people can be included in it, which is, if you want to look at this from a political angle, You could see this as the institution of marriage, accepting homosexuals, accepting gay marriage, instead of abolishing the system of marriage and monogamy altogether. Uh,
Sorry, it's okay. I'm bisexual. I was not planning on adding that to the podcast. Uh,
I know what you're
but
talking
now
about.
that you brought it up, you know exactly what I'm referencing right
I
now.
do.
But you know
Everyone
what?
does. Shrek is so saturated. I don't know if there's much more we can say. Say your thing, or respond. Fucking.
All right. Everyone has talked about the onion metaphor. Everyone has talked about it, but you said you wanted to talk about it, so you had your thing during
Yes.
the watch.
So the onion metaphor is good. Like I feel like a lot of people have gotten lost in the meme of Shrek and lost the heart of Shrek. You know what I mean? Because there is a heart in this movie. He's a thoughtful individual. He is a brute. He is gross. He is truly an ogre, but he's also this thoughtful individual who has layers. Yes, right? Like I said, he puts on the mask of this monster that everyone's scared of because that's what everyone's treating him like. He can't be the man that he truly is. Um and that sincerity is lost. Separate from the onion layer metaphor, people nowadays use layers of irony, right? Where they'll be sarcastic, but like 5 times, right? And Shrek as a movie is only one layer of irony. It's haha. What if we use pop music instead? But at its core, there still is, this sincerity, and I believe nowadays sincerity has been lost. You know what I mean? When you look at the like middle era Shrek memes, like when it got ironic, when people were like, Shrek is love, Shrek is life, Shrek is doing your wife, and like the animations with Shadow and stuff. That's no longer an appreciation of the character. It's not even necessarily making fun of him. It's sort of this meta ironic, like things just exist. And when you get to things like the Shrek rave, for example, right, that is a return to sincerity, a return to this sort of like appreciation for it. Um, I sort of got off track, but yeah,
No, that's fine. If you'll allow me to do my Marxist analysis,
Marxist analysis
because
of
there,
Shrek, sure.
my okay. Right, so Shrek is a lumpen prole. He kind of obsesses over the concept of land ownership, despite the fact that he traditionally doesn't even own the place he lives at.
Well,
But his
before
whole
before the
quest
movie
is for a
started,
deed.
before the movie started, he didn't really have to prove that he owned the place. He was like an animal that owned territory by just protecting it.
Yeah, and people were constantly coming in to take that from him, despite the fact that it was a swamp, place that is less valuable than anywhere else. So, in a response of having all of these other people, his fellow proletariat being he didn't want his home turned into a slum. So he's like, not here. You have to send them somewhere else. So he walks up to Duloc and demands to speak to the manager for a deed to his land, and then he ends up getting used by the upperclassmen
I know we joke,
to
but Shrek is like innately political. Like every movie, like I know we're joking, but every movie
art.
besides Shrek
Who said
3,
I was joking?
Shrek 4. I'm sorry, Shrek
I'm
4
not
is
joking.
the only movie that doesn't have like a genuinely political main plot. Like it might not have a message necessarily in regards to the politics, but politics is definitely like a central like theme or like
I mean, I
driving
I wouldn't
force.
say so. I
Driving
wouldn't
force.
say so.
Well, Shrek becomes a king in
Maybe
Shrek 3, and his whole deal is trying to find someone else to be king. I'm not saying it's not
you
something
said Shrek 4.
Shrek 4 is the one without politics. Shrek
That's
4
no, but I'm saying like it has Shrek 4 has politics.
Shrek 4
It's
like
just
the king and queen are involved, but Shrek 4 is just about him wanting to not be famous anymore, basically, wanting to be alone.
it's about
again.
contract law.
I suppose not really. That's like it's like fey magic. It's not like law.
Which no, but like the whole concept of like doing contracts and then selling your soul and all of that was it's all metaphors.
It's
Like
even
Rumpelstiltskin in that movie is like his whole deal is giving people what they think they want and then giving them
Let's save
instead.
the Shrek 4 analysis for the Shrek 4 episode.
Fair, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I shouldn't. We Shrek 1. Shrek 1. All of these movies have kind of become one like homogenous mass in my mind, but truly, yes, I need to separate them out.
To me, they're very distinct. For me, it's like checking back on Shrek every 3 years or so. Like in his own universe, every 3 years, if that makes any sense.
Where the fuck was I? Where was I talking
Marxist
about?
analysis of Shrek. He becomes
I
a tool
watched
of
a
the
full
state.
Marxist.
I
Yeah,
mean,
he does become a tool of the state temporarily before the end of the movie, and then.
See, I would argue that Shrek, like, if we are going to talk about the politics of Shrek, I think you can look at anything through a Marxist lens if you want, but I think that Shrek, I don't think it tries to be political, but I think the nature of its story, unironically, is a libertarian message. Because Shrek would be much better off if the state didn't interfere with his life, and his entire quest is to get the state off of his back, and then he does, and then he's happy.
Yeah, and then yeah, at least for the first movie.
You could argue it's just generically anarchist and not necessarily libertarian. But looking at Shrek as an owner of property is what sort of gives me that, twist. The other
the deed
tales,
to my land.
The other fairy tale creatures aren't being oppressed anymore, though, so that's a benefit.
Yeah, it's just kind of, I mean, they're not being. The only reason they're not being oppressed anymore is because Farquaad gets vored by a dragon.
Yes, so
that was secondary. That was secondary to the point, though. Like.
Yeah, Shrek
didn't plan
figure by any means. He just
does
what he needs to help himself, and other people get helped along the way.
Yeah, just as a side deal. But yeah. Anyway, there was another point you had during the watch where they are destined because she turns into an ogre.
Yes,
and
so
there was this point where
me trying to
you said
what destiny was to you, because you were like, what if she fell in love with a frog prince or something, and my point was that if she was going to fall in love with a frog, for example, she would already be turning into a frog, right? The fact that she's turning into an ogre is sort of a hint almost that Shrek is her true love.
Yeah, like love's true form.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the future causes the past. It's all sort of one intertwined thing.
Yeah. That was very interesting to me because I was like, because Shrek and Fiona do fall in love during the movie. They get to participate in that. It's not love at first sight,
which I enjoy.
Which a lot of the Disney movies do.
Right, like more than any, like of all the parodying and countering that Shrek does to those stories, the most like meaningful one is the fact that we actually get to see them bond instead of just like in something like Cinderella, they dance once and then just bam in love.
And it's a little problematic if you have to do like Stockholm syndrome a little bit, because he does kidnap her.
He doesn't kidnap her.
She's like, I'm gonna sit here until you bring Farquaad here. And she's like, no, I'm a delivery boy. And then she's literally hitting his back, trying to get out of his grip. And you see a time lapse of hours later where she's given up.
But she doesn't fall for Shrek because, like, those are kind of unrelated. Like, if she went to see Farquaad, she would still be bonding with Shrek along the way. She was just being obstinate about, like, following the script. She didn't have an issue with going there. She had an issue with the whole, like, Shrek showing up instead of Farquaad himself, I guess.
Yeah, but he still kidnaps her.
Yes, but like it's not. Yes, but not.
And then then they start bonding. And then they start bonding. She saves him from the arrow in his butt, and that's a bonding moment. You don't like that part, but I like it. I like that part with the Merry Men because it is a bonding moment, and it shows her as a badass because she fights people.
So the part with the arrow after the fact, I think, is good, but I don't think that
You need okay. Where would the arrow have come from without them? Like some other random bowman.
you
Oh, an ogre shoots.
well, earlier in the movie, we see that Farquaad is giving money for people that can turn in fairy tale creatures. You could have easily had someone who was hunting for fairy tale creatures happen upon Shrek, and then that's why he's doing it, which then further reinforces Farquaad as a villain, right? Without even someone necessarily coming after him because of him directly, but like this is the world that they find themselves in. Instead, you have Robin Hood, who just kind of serves as a generic bandit.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, after
Anyway,
they
like
start
that wasn't
bonding.
a really good idea that I just had.
No, it was, but I want to say my point without forgetting it because
Okay.
I have brain problems because of the giant fucking mushroom growing into my skull.
Okay.
All right, where the fuck was I? Right. Yes. Shrek kidnaps her gently, and then and then they bond. Robin Hood fight, arrow in butt, weed rat, and also the frogs and snakes. They start having fun with that.
Torturing
With the
animals.
balloons, yeah, the animal torture
Following in
balloon
the proud
animals
tradition of Mickey Mouse.
and the cotton candy spider web and all of that.
Donkeys third
All of it.
wheeling the whole time.
He has to be there. It breaks the ice. It breaks the tension. Otherwise, it's just a lady and an ogre basically making out immediately with like spiders in their teeth or fucking whatever. It's important for it's important to have a safety barrier there, a safety friend. All right, when you meet someone new.
Make sure
Anyway,
to stay 1 mile's distance away from each other while you're dancing.
yeah, I mean they. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, they bond, and then you see them fall in love, and then there's a third act misunderstanding. But let's ignore that shit because
the
it's
third act
pointless.
misunderstanding was a lot better than I remember it being. I remember it being more ham-fisted and out of nowhere, and it's done a lot better than I remember, to be honest.
It's still a third act misunderstanding, just for the sake of pacing.
Honestly,
But
I mean, if we're going back to like trying to rewrite this, they probably could have just made it be Fiona genuinely doesn't want to be with Shrek because she knows that she'll turn into an ogre every night. But at that point, it's like she wants to be human. It's not really about how he sees her. You know what I mean? Like on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, we're getting to a much different story about identity and bodies, and we're focusing less on the gay marriage and more on the transgender stuff. And that's the wolf gets more attention in Shrek 2.
yeah. We got to save that for Shrek 2. I love Wolf. I love her. She's great.
Well, hot take. I don't think the wolf is transgender. I think the wolf just has a deep voice. Hot take.
You know what? Might not be might just be a crossdresser. You're allowed to be a drag queen. You're allowed to do that.
Shrek follows in this tradition.
Wait, I mean,
of. Sorry, go ahead.
Fairy does call the fairy. Anyway, sorry, that's for Shrek 2 analysis. Sorry,
Shrek
no,
2 analysis.
gender confused wolf. All right. She literally calls it a gender confused wolf. Anyway,
so Shrek has this issue that other media that focuses on outcast main characters has, where Shrek himself makes fun of someone for a physical trait. He makes fun of Farquaad for being short. And it's kind of weird in a story where acceptance of being odd and being an outcast. Excuse me. Where that.
And I said that was because of a Napoleonic complex. That was a reference.
I don't think it had anything to do with Napoleon. I think they just made him short to make fun of him.
Exactly. That was what they did to Napoleon. Napoleon wasn't actually short.
Yeah, but okay, but they're still making fun of someone for an unchangeable physical characteristic, which is very similar to people hating on Shrek because he's an ogre. I feel like we've made interesting points in our commentary on this fucking movie.
I probably made some interesting points when we were fucking watching it, but I didn't take notes and the video file got deleted.
Okay, so from now on, we're going to watch these things separately, take notes,
and then
talk about the things we've taken notes on when we get back to recording, because we can't do it the way we try to do it.
Yeah, and then of course, there's the we're just going through the synopsis right now, and then talking about things we enjoy. I like the marriage scene where or not the marriage scene, but when they're getting prepared, and you just see them both sad, and then the video fades in and then fades out, and they're sitting at other sides of the table.
Yes, the
or
direction there
Shrek
was
is wearing the
amazing.
helmet.
The
Yeah,
direction
you
there was
didn't remember.
amazing.
Yeah, you didn't remember how good this movie can be when it was literally trying to do framing.
Yeah, the animation gets better as the movie goes on as well, you'll notice. Shrek's ears had jiggle physics where they sort of moved after the rest of his head moved, and that only happens halfway through the movie.
Do you know why that's the case?
Because it was all cutting edge shit. I know.
No. Okay, so when the animators at Pixar were doing King of Egypt.
Yes.
Or fucking the Prince of Egypt.
People would get punished by having to work on Shrek, I'm aware.
So more and more animators were assigned to Shrek, so that they had more and more people to work on it as the time of the movie went on. So the quality of the movie went up because they had more animators to work with.
That makes sense.
And higher quality animators because, they got booted later, not earlier.
The thing with Dragon, can we talk about that? Because
yes,
I was joking
when
I first
want to talk about Dragon so bad.
Okay, before we get into that, let me ask you a question not related to Shrek. Because even though this is mainly a media analysis podcast, it's not exclusively one. I have a question I'm going to ask everyone, every guest. It's stolen from another podcast, but I think it's a good thing to have as a staple, all right? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't you killed yourself?
Because I don't fucking want to.
But why don't you want to? Given the world we live in, why haven't you killed yourself? I need a real answer.
Weirdly, personally, my life is better now than when I was younger. So, I'm still on the up and up at the moment, despite everything.
You're not worried about the world and how it's slowly collapsing around us?
No, yeah, I am. No, I'm fucking worried about it. But, the world's gonna have to kill me itself, a fucking coward.
I think there's a certain threshold that I would just snap, but this isn't a question for me to answer. It's a question for you to answer. So it's really
my life personally is better at the moment. So I'm not currently in the mood to end it.
In what way is your life good? In what way is your life better? Is it just that what, you're not abused
the fact
anymore?
that
you have lots of Funko Pops? What's your deal? Trying to get philosophical here. You're not being very philosophical. You're being very surface level.
I am being very surface level because I'm not trying to do revealing information.
We're doing bro philosophy, all right? I'm sorry, it's happening.
Okay, all right. We're doing bro philosophy. 1, I'm no longer being forced to practice a religion I don't believe in.
All right.
2, I have a stable job that makes money.
Is that it? Just simple success in life is all it takes. So you don't want to break the Matrix. You want to join the Matrix. You're on the Matrix's side.
Well, the literal point of the fucking Matrix movie is at the end that they turn the Matrix into a place that's actually worth living in. But anyway, because the world fucking sucks, and the Matrix is
I meant the way Red Pill guys talk about the Matrix. I meant the way Andrew Tate talks about the Matrix, where he's just talking about capitalism.
Yeah, except he's no. The way Andrew Tate talks about the Matrix is trans people, or not trans people. Fucking I don't know.
The Matrix is when the Romanian government arrests me for admitting to crimes.
Yeah, it's when the Romanian government arrests you for human trafficking and also just getting. The Matrix is when you get what you fucking deserve. Anyway,
I mean, in Shrek...
anyway. My point. What was I saying?
Why don't you want to kill yourself, or why haven't you killed yourself yet?
Back when I wanted to die, I think it was cowardice. Now that I'm older, I think about the things in my life that keep me here, and that's enough. I like
what
the
what are
things.
these things?
I like the
like
people.
where do you get your hope from? Because I feel like our generation is very much lacking in hope, in purpose. I think we're all grasping at straws, and I think it would be useful for people who are doing that to sort of know what hopes you have, what straws you're grasping at.
I hate I hate to do the stereotype thing, but I have I have a partner who I'm very in love with.
Oh, so what I'm hearing is that the members of our audience who are incels, the members of our audience who can't get a partner and who are lonely should kill themselves.
You heard it here, folks.
No.
If you're lonely, you should fucking kill yourself.
All right. Oh, look, it's my boyfriend calling. I guess the podcast's over. Bye.
Wait, are you serious? You actually left? What the...
No, I'm not leaving. Yes, just yet. I'm gonna tell. I'll tell my boyfriend. I'm gonna tell my boyfriend.
Tell
hey,
him we need to talk
middle
about
of something, I'll be
Dragonvore.
there.
We need to talk about Dragonvore for 20 minutes.
I'll be there in 15 to 20 minutes.
Talking about Dragonvore.
See you then. Yes, we are gonna talk about Dragonvore, and then I'm gonna leave because that was the note the movie left it on.
Okay. Well, one last question before the Dragonvore. One more. You know what? No, I'll save that question for Shrek 2 for our next video, whatever it is. All right.
Wait, you want to? Okay, yeah.
No, we're not saving the
let's go.
Dragonvore. We're saving the other bro philosophy question.
Good. Okay, good. Dragonvore, let's go.
So I was joking.
I'm here for.
When I first mentioned it, I was joking because I remember that Farquaad gets eaten by the dragon at the end, and I was joking, right? Because that sort of thing happens. But the way that it's treated by the rest of the series, the way that it's called back to several times, and the physics of it is 150% someone working on this movie was into Vor. There's no other explanation.
Someone working on the after credit scene dance party karaoke.
So the after credit scene, the dance party ending. Yeah, you see Dragon hold the mic up to her stomach. You see Farquaad in there, which is one thing, right? That's like Vector
holding
on the moon.
holding a match, staying alive,
No.
staying alive.
That's a different video. Video. In the ending scene.
Yeah.
In the ending scene, you see Farquaad in there, I think, as part of the dance party ending. And
no, that was in the.
I'm pretty sure it's in both of them. It's just that he's singing the thing you're talking about. Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
The dance party ending, I'm pretty sure, it might not be 100%, that you see Farquaad, and then Dragon holds the mic up to her stomach. Because, no, you know what, no, he's in, they definitely make some reference to it in the end credits. I'm not sure at this point. Now you got me confused what's where. There's this other scene, there's this other, like pseudo music video medley thing they did with the characters, where Farquaad is still alive in Dragon's stomach singing. And then in one of those scenes, she holds the mic up to her stomach. And that's the thing that makes it weird to me. If that wasn't in there, I would give it a pass. Because, like, in Despicable Me, they show Vector on the moon dancing as part of their dance party ending, I think. So it's like, it's not unprecedented. But, like, yeah.
The fact that Dragon is holding a microphone up to her stomach so you could hear the cries of Farquaad, getting fucking digested, being fucking, to use Vor terms, getting gurgled.
I
Yeah.
I don't like that I know these
Anyway, yeah, I think that really was a very good end cap to the movie, and you know what? Talking about Dragonvore, really good end cap to this episode.
If this is in 2001 too, like this is before the internet made it mainstream. Vor wasn't mainstream back then.
Dragonheart. We're gonna watch that movie later, and there's a near Vor scene in that too, same era.
I don't understand Vor.
It's a good movie.
I don't get it. In general, I don't get people that like negative things. Like, I don't get, like, I want them to spit in my mouth and step on me. Like, me personally, I just want to, like, fuck Dragon regular style. I don't need her to eat me. Like, that's kind of weird, right? Like, it hurt. You die.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's fully, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, there are,
Don't get hurt. That shit hurts. Like,
don't get hurt. That shit hurts.
Don't get hurt. Yeah. That shit hurts.
But yeah, I mean, we could talk about Vor the next time it comes up in one of these movies, because it will.
Not the Shrek movies, I don't think.
I don't think so either. I'm trying to. No, there's just the fucking interbreeding between donkey and dragon, and you can talk about
the dronkies.
the dronkies.
The
We could talk about.
dronkies.
We could.
Talk about the
Yeah.
dronkies next movie. Okay, one last thing before
Hey,
we
some of the protein from Farquaad is used to make one of those dronkies. All right.
what do you think they immediately had the babies? I don't like to think about that. The essence of Farquaad passed down in the Dronky lineage.
No, actually, no. There was some time. There was an amount of time. I mean, I don't know. You probably store calcium for longer than that. So anyway, we should stop talking about this.
One last thing before we end the podcast.
Before it gets weird.
One last thing before we end the podcast. What is the next thing that we're gonna watch? Because I suggested Shrek, so you get to suggest the next thing. It can't be Has Been Hotel. That's the 1,000 subscriber special.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not gonna be Has Been Hotel. I think it's gonna be Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. All right.
It's a classic, and you've never seen it.
I've never seen it, but I somehow know the extra lore surrounding how it came into existence. I believe it was a book, but it was a book that like the author made for his kids or some shit that had like a shit ton of extra lore and like a second book you could order when it got printed, but it was like a secret or some shit. I know I sound schizophrenic. I might be remembering the wrong thing.
Anyway, that's for next episode. Thank you for listening, listeners. The full review for now. Bye.